Good morning and welcome to Talk Sports on Global Television. Indeed, it's been a very exciting weekend for some football fans of Manchester City and Arsenal. Like they said before we came on air, Arsenal packed the bus, like Jose Mourinho we ask you to do, pack the box when you're playing a very good team, and that's what played out over the weekend. I'm not alone. I've got my co-uncle and the very, very famous
Yes, good morning and welcome to Talk Sports on Global TV. I'm Samuel Odi. It's always an amazing time to be here, bringing you top stories from sports all around the world. Sitting here with one of my bosses, and
we've got Mazino. Mazino is waiting by the wings. He came in. They used to say red-blooded?
Yeah,
black-blooded this morning,
okay.
And like he's got vengeance for some. I think probably he came in from Benue State where some FA Cup matches were also did play there. But we'll begin from let's look at fixtures because we just had international break,
yes.
And matches didn't really go through. So let's see the MPFL fixture ahead. That's on the 3rd of April.
Yes.
Welcome to New Monte. We'll be having matches played across board. Let's see the fixtures for MPFL. So that we can go through the matches we're expecting on the 3rd of this month. That's fast forward 2 days from now. We've got Rivers United who are on the international scene. We'll be taking on, hopefully, Aqua United. That game was put forward. Then we've got Casina United taking on Doma United. That'll be a very interesting matchup. We've got Lobby Sporting Lagos. We'll be trading tackles with Eyimba Faba, while Lobby Stars... okay, I think I'm mixing it up. Yeah, Sporting Lagos takes on Lobby Stars, while Eyimba trades tackles with Kano Pillars. That's going to be a very big matchup there.
Yeah.
And we've got Bayelsa United with trade tackles with Hadland of Owerri, while the Flying Antelopes, Enugu Rangers would try Sunshine Stars of Akure for size. Gombe United will be looking to dim the Stars from Remo as they face Remo Stars, while Abia Warriors will be bringing out all their arsenal against Plateau United, trying to disunite them. So it's going to be interesting for you. Which of these games looks like the biggest one? We've got Eyimba Faba taking on Kano Pillars. There's no doubt two great traditional teams locking horns.
Yes, these are two top teams in the Nigerian Premier League, and Eyimba Faba, they are 9-time champs, and then they'll always want to prove themselves. And again, they'll be playing at home, so they want to defend their home, their home wins. And then Kano Pillars as well on the road will be trying to get a win in Abia State. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough match, but it's a Nigerian professional Premier League, and then it has gotten to a point where these players are all being intense, and then it has gotten to the second standard where players tend to do a little bit more, at least if you don't get to win the championship, but you tend to finish up and then qualify
for the continent.
So that's the point where all of these clubs are now, so they just keep pushing and pushing. And then we are rooting for, Rivers United for their second leg.
Yeah, let's look at the Flying Antelopes, Enugu Rangers, who are also aiming to win the title. They'll be trading tackles with Sunshine Stars of Accra. How sleepy would that match be? Would it be safe for Rangers to try to take Sunshine Stars for granted?
Like I always say, taking any team in football, both local and international, for granted, at the end of the day, the team who is taking them for granted will be paying a price, a heavy price. So at this point of the competition, they are not meant to even take these local league guys for granted, because it's very, very key that you get whichever point that you can be able to salvage at any point, at any game you play. It's actually very, very important for not just the players, but the team to, go represent. It's been a minute since Enugu Rangers went to represent in the Confederation Cup. So it's actually a good point for them to just, salvage whatever they can salvage, take whatever points they can take the win, just take the win. But Sunshine Stars still wouldn't just go down like that without fighting.
All right, so Abia Warriors, who also have set up a final in the FA Cup matches, will be hosting Plateau United. That's going to make up for a very interesting matchup. Plateau United, also one of the teams that are not doing so badly so far this season, and they'll be looking to get to the continent. And how much would they want a win against a very, very dogged side like Abia Warriors?
And then they're playing away from home. So that is going to be like a very, very big boost for their morale and their, enthusiasm if they get to beat Abia Warriors at home. Getting a point, like getting the 3 points away from your home, it's really, really massive boost. So if they can get that, so it's going to put them in a very, very high spirit, and then we'll be looking forward to representing the continent. All
right, let's look at the MPFL tables and see what the tables are saying as of today, before matches kicks off in the next couple of 2 days from now. But looking at the MPFL table, we've got Enugu Rangers, the Flying Antelopes on top, and we've got Lobby Stars of Makurdi. They're second on the log with 47 points. Rangers 48 points, just a point separating the first from the second. And we've got Remo Stars at third position with 45 points. Eyimba Faba will be in action also Wednesday, have 45 points in the Kitty. Plateau United, like we talked about, will be visiting Abia Warriors and trying to see, that's Abia Warriors at 10th in the position. We'll see how they can get that needed, all 3 points. Fifth on the log table, 44 points, and Kanu Pillars will be trying Eyimba for size. On Wednesday, have 41 points, and then we've got Casino United with also 41 points, locked at 7th on the log table. Shooting Stars have 40 points, and they're 8th on the table. Bender Insurance and 9th on the table with 37 points, and Abia Warriors definitely 35 points, not too good, 10th on the league table. Let's see the second part of the league table to see the bottom half of the league table. Yes, this is the bottom part, and we've got Bayelsa United seated at the bottom, leading from the bottom of the park with 31 points. Aqua United also bottom of the park with 31 points. Rivers United, yes, they have 4 outstanding matches. They're 31. Let's look at Rivers United. If they win 4 of their matches that is outstanding, that's give them 35 points, and so they'll be hitting up away from the relegation if they can win their 4 matches at a bounce. How easy or difficult will it be for Rivers United, knowing that they're involved in the continent and they are just 31 points, third from the bottom?
There's so much going on in the Rivers United now, and I think they are more focused in trying to win the Continental League. So if they can come back, get that win from there and win that trophy, and then come back, they have 4 matches more to play with that spirit, and they should be able to leave the relegation stage and then, try again to qualify for the next Continental games. So Rivers United actually had a win, a 1-0 win at home, and then they'll be traveling.
That's for the continent.
Yes, for the CAF.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
Yes. So it's actually an amazing job they are doing, but it's a good result. But we're just hoping they can, be getting both sides.
Both sides.
Yes.
Okay, let's see how that's going to pan out. But we know that Bayelsa at bottom, leading from the bottom of the park, Aqua United, Rivers. We've got Kwara United, Niger Tornadoes, Donma United, and Sunshine Stars of Akure, who are also not doing so badly. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Lobby Stars and the news that this morning. Lobby Stars technical advisor Eugene Agabe says the club's triumph in the Federation Cup will serve as a morale booster ahead of their Nigerian Premier League fixture match day 28 against the Sporting Lagos. The Pride of Benue defeated Flight FC 2-1 to win the Benue Federation Cup final on Saturday. Lobby Stars will battle it with Sporting Lagos at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena on Wednesday. Lobby Stars occupy second position in the MPFL. This is good for them. They're also doing well in the State FA Cup.
Yes.
And so it means they're likely to go. They've got a chance to win 2, trophies this season. All right, let's move on to Rivers United. Secure slim win over USM Ojas, that's talking about the continental matches there. The big story talks about former league, former Nigeria Premier League club side, Rivers United managed to beat Algerian club USM to give themselves an advantage going into the second leg of the tie. Earlier match, they won 1-0. But when you're playing against a very crafty North African team, and you just have one goal to show when you play at home, do you think that team is quite serious to win?
Well,
because we know the North African teams they have lots of antics up their sleeves, especially when they are in the continent. And facing Rivers United, Rivers going away, do you think that 1-0 was enough?
They would have gotten, I expected, the game to end for 2-1 or 2-0, but it ended at a 1-0.
1-0,
yeah. So that now it's not a total advantage because one, you're going to play these guys in their home. You can't just defend all through the 90 minutes. Definitely, it's going to be weighing, and then it might not play out well, But it's actually good in the second half. On the flip side, that they are going there with a win, and then they should come up with different strategies, different tactics now to be able to defend and then try to get another goal to secure their lead. At least they're going to be having an aggregate advantage if they get to score another goal. The goal that was scored by the Rivers United was a very sweet and amazing goal into the far right corner, and then it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was very, very beautiful. A strike came from the corner side, and then he smashed it real far into the left-hand corner. Yeah, it was an amazing finish.
Yeah, we were told that Augustine Ojekpa after the game scored the goal in the 10th minute, and after the game, Rivers United coach Stanley Guma told reporters that he was disappointed his team didn't convert their chances. That's what I was saying. When you don't take your chances, it makes it difficult in the second leg. But let's move on to Gombe United. There's a story coming out from Gombe United this morning. Bala Nikiyu has been named as the technical advisor of the Nigerian Premier League club side Gombe United. Nikiyu replaced Mohamed Babaganuru, who left the post earlier this month. He signed a contract till the end of the season. The experienced tactician is expected to take charge of the team immediately. Let's look at the signing of this new coach, especially at the time the league is right now. Do you think he's going to be able to save them, looking at the fact that the league is already halfway gone?
Yeah, the league is halfway gone, and it's actually totally not so. There are two, actually, there's an advantage and disadvantage to it. So I'm just hoping that, this signing up now is actually going to be, because they're not doing so bad and they're not doing so good. So what they're going to do now is just to find the technicality now to just, be able to make the most of what's remaining of this season.
All right, let's hope the best is what they have done. Okay, let's move on. We've got Eyimba in the news this morning too. Antoine De Souza and Abia Warriors overwhelmed the Miracle to set up Eyimba in the State FA Cup. Abia Warriors and Eyimba have set up an intriguing State FA Cup final clash after negotiating their respective semi-final ties in contrasting fashion. Let's say that Paul says, Jerry posted that MPFL clubs, Battle Miners, Miracle FC, and Ehudia named in the Abia State FA Cup semis. At Eyimba Stadium, the Abia Warriors produced a ruthless attacking display to thump Miracles 10-0 and booked their spot in the final. New signing Antoine De Souza stole the show by netting 5 goals, a brace before halftime, a hat-trick completed 2 minutes into the second half before adding 2 more later on. Meanwhile, Pascal was also joined the fray. Pascal Mwabweze also bagged the brace as the Warriors overwhelmed their amateur opponents to progress in style. That's what they say when you meet you beat them so bad. So next time they hear your name, they'll be careful when they're meeting you.
Like 10-0.
No,
was that played on the field, or it was,
basketball, right?
No, not even basketball. I'm even trying to say PlayStation.
That's me. They will come for me. I promise I'll give them your address. All right, let's look at this man. All right, let's talk about Eyimba. In Umuahia here, it was Eyimba defending MPFL champions. Eyimba needed penalty kicks to squeeze past their own opponent, Hudia NEM FC, of following a goalless 90 minutes with the semi-final tie locked at 0-0 at normal time. It was left to goalkeeper Ani Zoemene to emerge as the Elephant Zero in the shootout. So penalty shootout 4-3, Eyimba won. But, I think looking at the scores we've seen in the FA Cup in different states, I think the big teams they've managed to scale their way through and got into the final. So we expect to see very interesting finals. As for instance, Abia Warriors taking on Eyimba, that'll be a great final.
That'll be a very
big
big
FA Cup.
yes.
FA Cup.
Yeah.
But it's time for us to move into the foreign scene and look at some 3 big stories before the swap comes into play. Let's look at the Premier League has written to its club to warn them about the potential of terror attack following a sickening assault on the Moscow concert hall that killed at least 137 people. Meanwhile, clubs have been made aware of the comments by Islamic State spokesman Abu Hudayfa al-Ansari, who called on lone wolves to target Christians and Jews across the US, Europe, and Israel during the month of Ramadan. And those based in London have been told to be on their guard following the stabbing of an Iranian journalist in the capital, which is being investigated by counter-terrorism officers. In a message sent ahead of the Easter fixtures, top flight clubs were urged to increase vigilance and report any suspicious activity. Let's look at this. Well, I think this would have put lots of clubs and fans, at the edge.
The edge, true, very true. Having things like having people die, 137 persons die in Moscow, and then getting all these threats that there might be an attack, and all will obviously put the players and the fans at the edge, because one, the players now will be wondering if they are playing, what would happen, and then fans now wouldn't even want to come out to support and then watch this game of football that they love so much. So now it's actually advisable for a lot of measures to be taken, in the stadium areas, maybe searches, and then have dogs sniff around places to find out if there are things or, nothing is of that such is happening. Insecurity now in football is getting to a part where we don't even understand. Just last week, there were death threats sent to Di Maria and Daniel Alves if they come home. So all of this happening now, it's not, it's not welcoming, and it's scary and it's unhealthy for the beautiful game of football.
All right, over the weekend, there was some big matches that were played. We had the almighty Man City take on Arsenal, and a lot of people, sport fans, expected victories. Liverpool fans wanted Man City to lose. Some of them wanted Arsenal to win, and vice versa, but that wasn't the case. One man gave a very funny reaction when he was questioned after the game. Let's just let you know that Man City boss Pep Guardiola claimed that only one team set out to entertain during Sunday's 10th title clash, as Arsenal left with a precious point. Liverpool were the big winners after coming from behind to beat Brighton before City were later left frustrated by the Gunners in a goalless draw at the Etihad Stadium. Guardiola praised Mikel Arteta's setup but made consistent reference to the numbers Arsenal deployed in defensive areas and how deep they sat in order to grind out a result. City have earned just 4 points from games against the top 5 compared with 16 last season, and Guardiola admitted they are relying on favours from elsewhere in the hunt for the 4th straight title. No stranger to frantic run-ins, the Catalan defended his side by suggesting that the critics have short memories. Is Pep correct that you guys have short memories? Critics of
I didn't see that coming. Actually, he can't just say that, yeah, fine. Guardiola is someone that's a winner.
He likes to win.
He likes to win. He doesn't like draw. He just goes and then he wants to win. So what he was expecting, I guess he didn't see Mikel Arteta.
Well, did Arsenal play the wrong pattern? When you're playing a team, I thought your pattern is dependent on what your opponent brings to the table.
Well, the thing is, coaches, they have their own play. And then Michael Arteta saw that, okay, this form of play, this formation, this pattern of play is what is going to help us either win and then or get a draw. And then luckily for them, it played out. If Arsenal was able to like get one goal, the only person you will see up front there will be probably Saka. And then the other 10 players and the goalkeeper will just be sitting in the 18 area. So yeah, that was the tactics that they had. That was the game plan that they had. Each team come with their own different game plan. So they came in with that game plan and it worked for them. I know draw wasn't what they were solely looking for, but them getting a draw wouldn't be bad. So they were able to get the draw. But now, in the other hand, on the flip side, I was expecting Guardiola to figure out a way that they can use to, break in that defense and get a goal. Haaland got a bit, I wouldn't say what happened, but I think
he mistimed his shot.
Yeah, he mistimed his shot, and I think the defense line of Arsenal got into him, and then at some point he was looking, tired and frustrated with the way everything was playing out. But it was just okay. For Arsenal fans, they actually celebrated that they got a draw. But for the other side, Man City were not happy with the result. They were expecting a win, and then it just played out just like Guardiola said. Only some sets came out to entertain, and then the others came to just sit.
All right, but I think because even when Man City plays Real Madrid, they don't come out running. They also play the pattern that they'll be able to absorb Madrid. Yes. So I think Guardiola is not being fair enough. But Guardiola was not just angry with Arsenal, he was also angry with Grealish, because so he tells us that Guardiola had some choice words for Jack Grealish, who, after the referee blew his final whistle, at the end of Sunday's draw in Arsenal, Grealish came on in the second half but struggled to make much of an impact in the game of very few openings. Gunners defended brilliantly, managing to prevent the home side from scoring at the Etihad for the first time in 57 matches. City boss Guardiola caught somewhat frustrated on the sidelines and made a beeline for Grealish upon the full-time whistle. The two exchanged words with Guardiola, clearly unhappy about a particular passage of play, with the entire exchange caught on sport camera. Let's look at Guardiola, the fact that he's always quick to hammer his players, even publicly. Is that so? Is that a good thing?
Well, the thing
we saw him do it to Calvin Phillips, who is now on loan at West Ham.
Yeah, he also did it to De Bruyne. When De Bruyne, yes, he did that recently to De Bruyne. I think he's a very disciplined person.
Cancelo,
nobody is just free.
Also had to leave because of that same.
Yeah, nobody is free around Guardiola. When you're not doing what's expected of you, he kind of scolds and then make sure you do your job properly. And if you're not doing it and you want to be stubborn, then you ship you off somewhere where you'll go struggle. So, Guardiola always has things to say to his players. If you're doing well, he encourages. If you're not, he puts you out and then maybe punish you for not doing the right thing at when you're supposed to do it. So Guardiola, it's all about his business. When it comes to that field of play, he's all about his business. And then that's why he remains one of the best coaches, arguably best coaches in the Premier League now, even in the world currently.
All right, let's look at, we're talking Man City fans now. That's the next we're still talking about that. And Big Story tells us that Man City fans showed their anger at rising season ticket prices with a banner aimed at the club during their title showdown with Arsenal. City emailed fans last week informing them of their individual price that would have to pay for season ticket next year. With supporters asked to pay on average a 5% hike in price for their seat. The rising cost has enraged the supporters groups, and they have accused the club of pricing them out, especially after they recently posted record revenues of £712 million. Sunday's clash with rivals Arsenal was the first home game since the release of the new prices, and fans took the opportunity to show how disgruntled they are at the increased ticket cost. Let's look at this. For a team that made £712 million, is it fair on City to hike the price of tickets by 5%?
One thing is, I don't even know why the prices are being hiked in the first place. Are they looking to give players more bonuses, I don't know what they are trying to do, maybe maintenance and all, but it shouldn't be at the expense of the fans. These fans come to cheer you up. At least the price.
The fans own the club. But we know that the Saudi Arabian money cash is what is floating that club. So they cannot be that cash trap.
Thank you. So they can't be that cash trap to like just hike prices like that for tickets, and then the fans now coming out, in a peace manner to express it. It's something the board of directors need to pay attention to, and then look into and see how they are going to maneuver around it by not hiking price. These people come out to cheer and support you and also make you money, so why hike the price?
All right, that's questions the Sheikh in Man City would answer, but let's move on. We've got some interesting story that played out in the Women's League Cup. That's Arsenal women is what we're looking at this morning, as Arsenal midfielder Frida Manom was on Sunday in a stable condition after collapsing on the pitch during the League Cup victory over Chelsea. Manom fell to the floor in the 95th minute and required oxygen during a 9-minute stoppage. There were no other players near the midfielder when she lost consciousness. This is becoming too often. We've seen it a lot in the male football, but for female football, it's very worrisome. But we thank God that Manom is up and doing now. But how important is this in terms of the health care of footballers?
Like I always say, if a player, male or female, is not on 100%, it shouldn't even, consider putting in that player to go play, because this sport is something that takes a toll on the human body. And then if you're not on 100%, any slight thing you could just slump, and then, it's going to lead to something devastating for yourself, for the team, and for family at home. So welfare of players is something that needs to be held at top as a number-1 priority of every team, every club. They need to make sure that players are actually very, very, very fit, health-wise, and then mental-wise, to be able to come and perform and then put up a very good, performance.
All right, we're talking Women's League Cup final yesterday that played out, and Chelsea lost again. I want to take this opportunity to say sorry to Odi Samuel. I know how it feels always being on the losing side, not just the male folks now, but the female folks.
At least we salvaged the draw, sadly.
But you lost the League Cup final to Arsenal. Arsenal beat you again. All right, we'll go for a very quick break. There's a man who is gulping all the bottles of water in Nigeria. We're trying to save him. So we'll be throwing into the deep after this break. So he tells us why he's drinking so much water. Probably he swam all the way from Ughelli. Okay, he doesn't want to go there. Yeah. All right, stay with us after this break. right, welcome back here from the break. You're still watching Talk Sport on Global Television, and they had to make a quick swap because the one player was, looks like he's still not recovered from the matches he played over the night. So we had to bring in Dixon Mazzino, who seems to be on fire, to take over. Dixie, you're laughing. You subbed your friend Samuel Odi.
He's had a lot of workout for this Easter, so he needs to recalibrate, you know, after doing a lot of work on the pitch and off the pitch. So he has to, like, pick up steam.
Oh, boy. Okay, now we know where tiredness is coming from. Okay, let's talk. We're still talking female football in the League Cup final that played out. The big story says league boss Emma Hales hit out at. Let's just take this story first of all before we discuss this. Just to let you know that Chelsea boss Emma Hales hit out at Arsenal manager Jonas Eidevall's male aggression after she had shoved him in the heated post-match exchange. The Gunners came out on top of the Continental League Cup final with Stina netting the 116th minute winner in extra time, but there was confrontation when Eidevall and Chelsea midfielder Erin Colbert squared up to one another over disagreement over the throw-in. Colbert had attempted to use a new ball, but Eidevall had pointed out that the game was not being played with multiple ball system, meaning that they had to collect the original ball they had gone out of play with. When Eidevall went to shake Hales' hand at the full-time whistle, the Chelsea manager could be seen pointing at her counterpart before giving him a shove. Let's see. Okay, this is where the coach was arguing with the Chelsea player. You have to use the same ball because we agreed it's a one-ball game, not a multiple ball game, which he is right.
He's right,
okay?
definitely.
So let's look at the Chelsea coach now, Emma Hales, who is accusing him of male aggression. Who looks more like the aggressor? Do you think she's just a bad loser? Because, you know, there's this thing about women always having the support out there in Europe. The law seems to always back them. Do you think that's what she's trying to do? Because she labeled it a male aggression, trying to put Eidevall in a bad light. I
think that's just misplaced aggression from her part, because
that's what the coach said too.
Because I mean, they've agreed. It was agreed prior to kickoff that okay,
and
one
Chelsea
ball.
insisted on one ball.
They insisted exactly, and now the Chelsea player now forgets herself and decides to go. And the coach now reminds, no, it's one ball. So in all. The Arsenal coach was very, very correct. I think she was just angry that they lost to their London rivals once again. You know, that shove is not about the
Shouldn't she be punished for that if this case goes up?
Well, the thing is, like you said, there will be a soft landing for her. They can just, except if the Arsenal coach does not report an assault, or the match official does not record it as an assault, it can be just looked over. No, it's not unexpected. Remember, football is not just a contact sport. It's also a passionate sport. So the Chelsea coach just showed her true passion out there.
Why wasn't that considered when the Spanish FA president kissed him also?
Well, you know, there's this woke culture in Europe that always seems to want to protect the woman, like the woman is endangered and there's a disadvantaged person compared to the male. And personally, for that Spanish one, I think they've taken it way too far, because when it first happened, there was no response from the player. If you remember, she didn't say anything because it was just a passionate thing. Fine, he may have done other things out, off the field to other players. It is possible. That is why most times they prefer a female coach to coach a female team to avoid things like that. But I think he was just excited that they won. And for some reason, they just made that all about... I mean, we forgot about the fact that Spain won the World Cup and they just focused on him. Now he has taken the fall. He was sacked. He's being tried. They're even recommending prison term. I think that's way too harsh for me. But for this one, if it was the other way around, that a male coach pushed a female coach, now the reaction might be different because they will play that card of, oh, you are doing this because it's a woman, you understand. And I feel, look, justice should be equal for everyone. And in this case, I think the Chelsea coach should apologize to the Arsenal coach, apologize to the English football family, because that was very unbecoming. We know she got passionate, but there was no need for that. I mean, he was right. The fact that he even extended the hand of fellowship after the match, she was, you know.
But was he cocky? Because he also, on the flip side, he looks like a cocky guy.
Well, you know, but he did the right thing. Yeah. Normal end of match pleasantries.
It's true.
I mean, he could easily have just walked away, or he could have hid by simply by just simply celebrating with his players and not even going near the Chelsea bench. Now you would not blame him for that. But he extended the hand of friendship. Okay, congratulations, it was a good game. And she just flipped out. I mean, thank God she didn't punch him. Now that would have really made the news.
All right, let's take you to Spain, where Real Madrid won their last game before they face Manchester City, and they did it comfortably without the need of suspended Vinicius Junior. There are no league fixtures next weekend because of the Spanish Cup final. After this 2-0 victory, Madrid can sit back and enjoy the view from the top of the table, 8 points clear of second place Barcelona with 8 games left to play. They were up against the Atletico Bilbao, who will be busy in 6 days playing the final against Mallorca. For Madrid, this was a game won by other Brazilian, the brilliant Rodrigo. Forever in Vinicius' shadow scored twice, and Athletic could offer nothing in response. It was also Jude Bellingham's return. After his 2-match suspension, he drove the team on from midfield and was the creator of the second goal. And there was a third protagonist. The Militao has been out for 7 months with cruciated tear, but returned as the second half substitute, looking in the right shape to play his part against City. Let's look at Madrid. 8 points clear. I like the way the narrator said from the top, looking at from the top of. Do you think there's any stopping the Galacticos?
I don't think so. Right now, the league is basically done and dusted for them. At this point in time, they are not going to sleep. If you have 7-8 matches to go with Carlo Ancelotti at the top, no, they will definitely win. What surprised me more was the strip they wore for their home match rather than the whites they wore. Yeah, it was different. But for me, that second goal by Rudiger was fantastic. The cut.
He beat them, and he still had the genuity to place it in that.
No, I had to stand up to clap when I saw that goal. Like, that was.
He was deliberate. He knew what he was doing.
Very deliberate. And of course, you cannot talk about Real Madrid this season without talking about Jude Bellingham. He has really been a revelation. Not like he's the best midfielder I've seen in the world, but he has made an impact, a clear
consistent impact.
And he has a captain's mentality. He's someone that I see him in future being a future captain of England. He drives the team. He plays for the team. He brings others to play. He delivers when he has to. And it's showing, even without Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo stepped up to the plate and delivered.
Let's look at Rodrigo. Like the report says, forever under Vinicius Junior's shadows. But has Rodrigo come to stay in terms of being someone who can carry the Galacticos? Because those 2 goals were needed, and he seemed to be the only spark.
For me.
And the way he scored those goals seemed like Vinicius Junior's kind of goals.
Exactly. No, Rodrigo is a fantastic striker. Yeah, for me, I just feel he has been unlucky. In any other team, and underrated. For me, any other team he would start. He's good. Personally, I even, to some extent, I like him because he has less controversy than Vinicius. Vinicius is a good striker, but he cuts too much controversy. Yes, we know the racism thing, but I feel he wants attention. Vinicius craves attention. He wants to be recognized as one of the all-time. You will see it in him. Yes, he scores, but as for Rodrigo, he just goes about doing his job, and he's professional. And for me, like I said, this is someone that he's fast, he's very skillful. He may not be as flamboyant in the usual Madrista style, but for me, he has come to stay. For me, he's staying in Real Madrid.
Well, what do you think is his strongest point? Because at times I look at him, I can't really. For me, I'm one of those that have not really. I didn't see him as someone who has something special in him until recently, when, especially towards the twilight of
Benzema.
Yes, Benzema's era, and now that he's beginning to take up the challenge.
Even around that period, remember, he was one that practically destroyed Manchester City's first real attempt.
Towards the end of the game.
Yes, he just came and scattered everything. That guy is good. Look, for me, I would say this anytime. I don't know, maybe the coach feels that him and Vinicius play similarly. Yeah, so maybe that's why they can't start them. But if there's a way they can accommodate the two of them in front, with Bellingham coming from the middle, I think that would even make Madrid more dangerous.
All right, let's look at, let's talk Barcelona talk now. Barcelona's vice president is looking at trying to convince Xavi to stay. Is that do you think that's the way forward to go, trying to make Xavi stay put?
You know, we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I think they've looked at it. Right now, there seems to be a kind of drought in terms of top coaches out there.
Yeah, true.
So maybe they are looking at it from that angle of maybe we should just go ahead, because somehow Barcelona has stabilized. At the onset of the year or towards the end of last year, they were all over the place. And when it was like, okay, you know what, Xavi is going. But right now, Barcelona has kind of stepped up to the plate. Yes, they are behind Real Madrid. And with time, I guess the president of Barcelona must have looked at it and, hey, maybe we might as well just keep Xavi, because who are you going to bring now? That's the truth. Remember, what's his name? A credible candidate would have been Klopp, Jurgen Klopp. But Jurgen Klopp, from all indications, will not go anywhere except Germany, even though he has taken a hiatus. So at this point, I think what they want to do is wait. The reason why they are saying Xavi should stay is wait. Let's see what happens. We may not win the La Liga this season. Let's see how far we go with the Champions League. Then let's now watch for next season when there will be availability of coaches. I have a feeling Pep Guardiola is getting to the last legs of his stay in Manchester City. There's really nothing to prove anymore. He has won everything. And he might,
you think he's likely to want to go to Barcelona?
It might want him to come back at some point. If they cannot get Jurgen Klopp, the next person really that can actually fill that level, especially with the new La Masia generation coming up, is Pep Guardiola. He's the only one that would be able to instill that philosophy, that tiki-taka flow that we saw when the likes of Messi were brought into the fray. That is the only way they can go about. So for now, I think it's a stopgap measure, not to rock the boat, because they cannot just. You know, one thing about Barcelona is they are a very rigid team. They always want a coach that will play to their philosophy. They would not want to just bring anybody. For instance, like a Tuchel now. They cannot bring a Tuchel. They cannot bring a Mourinho, for instance. They cannot bring, they can't bring those kind of coaches. Maybe an Arteta at some point in time because he's a Catalan. But they will always want someone that would adhere to their football philosophy of playing from the back. And Klopp believes in that. Of course, Pep Guardiola is an apostle of that. So I think for now, it's a wait-and-see scenario. Let's wait and see what happens going forward.
All right, let's go take you to Stamford Bridge and look at the issues playing out in Stamford Bridge, talking about Chelsea. Chelsea legend Frank Leboeuf has launched a scathing review of his former club following Saturday's 2-2 draw against a 10-man Burnley, slamming the border for destroying the Blues, and their fuming current players have nothing in their brain. Mauricio Pochettino's miserable first season in charge of Stamford Bridge took another dampering turn when Chelsea failed to claim victory against reduced Burnley team that have plenty majority.
I'm laughing.
What's wrong with Chelsea? Is it just about getting wrong players or Pochettino not being good with his tactics? We're talking about Burnley, 10-man Burnley, and they can't.
Without a coach with 10 men, I mean, they still couldn't put them to the sword. Look, Chelsea. Look, it's a big. I know some may not like that, but it's a big issue. First and foremost, from the manner they took out the former owner, Roman Abramovich. Yes, there was a crack already appearing before them, but the way it was yanked off, and the way Burnley came in and started bringing in new players, left, right, and
even
center.
When they didn't have a coach.
They didn't have a coach. It didn't make sense. For me personally, when Chelsea appointed Pochettino, I knew that was a wrong move. Pochettino is better with above average teams, not like world class, but teams that are above average, that can compete but not win. Yes, it's okay, but with Chelsea, no. I mean, you saw
when Chelsea was above average. We're talking about a club that had won World Club football.
That's what I'm saying.
Won the Premier League.
Pochettino can't handle world class teams. He can't handle teams where they have a pressure cooker situation. Look at PSG. He had all the players in the world, Messi, and he couldn't really deliver. He couldn't give that knockout blow, and he left. So it's the same thing with Chelsea. And the worst part now is that Chelsea is going through a transition where they have more younger players than older ones. So unfortunately, they've not gotten the right blend. Then thirdly, and more importantly, there is a clear problem with the medical team of Chelsea.
Is it because the players seem to always get injured?
They have not gotten it right.
Could it be the medical team, or we can say the training regime of the coach gets the players injured easily?
You know, this even started right from the time they brought back Lampard and brought Potter. This thing has been showing. Yeah. This thing has been showing. Even when Tuchel was still there at a point, something was just not right. Or something is still not right. Look at Pulisic now. He's barely injured for AC Milan. He's playing so well. For the United States, he's now like the premier Pulisic that they always hyped him to be. But look at other players like Chelsea. Look at Liva. Look at they just keep getting injured as they are coming back from injury from the treatment table. They get injured right there in the hospital and they go back again. I mean, something is wrong. Something has really gone off. Although I understand that by 2027 the management will bring another head. So Belly, I think, too needs to go because really, football is not for him. It's really bad news. Football is not for him, really. That's running the day-to-day. Yeah, yes.
All right, let's quickly, time out, our friend. Let's look at one more talking point before we call it a wrap. Some big news coming from Paris Saint-Germain, where Luis Enrique has revealed that he still hopes that Kylian Mbappe will change his mind and remain at Paris Saint-Germain this summer instead of leaving for Real Madrid. The star forward has been heavily linked with a move to the Bernabeu after telling PSG in February he will leave the club when his contract expires at the end of June. Mbappe is set to reveal his next club before Euro 2024, with Real Madrid widely expected to be his destination. However, Enrique stressed that nothing is set in stone and that it is possible that Mbappe could stay at PSG. During his time in PSG, Mbappe has scored 250 goals in 297 appearances across all competitions. This man was on fire. 250 goals, not a bad return for 297 game, average of 2 goals per game.
If I'm Mbappe, he should leave. Why do I say so? Right now, he's 25 or 24. He has barely 4 more years to play at that level.
That prime.
If he doesn't leave now, that's it. He will just become another club idol like Francesco Totti. We will never get to see him
at his best.
At his best, and play in an environment that would bring out other parts of his game that we may not have seen. You know, I'm saying this.
We miss Totti for that.
You know, I feel so bad. Anytime I think about Francesco Totti, he was one of the best footballers of his generation. But, well, for club loyalty, he stuck to
Roma.
The same way my own Steven Gerrard stuck to Liverpool. He should have gone to Real Madrid, really, because at that point, he was the best English player that could play at that level at that time. He missed that opportunity.
And I think Bellingham is a replica of a Gerrard.
Exactly. You know, somehow Bellingham, I mean, he's good with both feet. He's fast. He can do a playmaking role. He can play as a supporting striker. If need be, at the last minute, he can even go in as a battle ram, as a real striker. He can even fall back as a defense. So, I mean, that's a complete football. And, you know, for Mbappe, it's a no-brainer. He should go.
But do you think Enrique can persuade him? Or do you think the money from this Arabian kingdom might just convince him? He's African, don't forget.
But look, at this point in time, Mbappe is, rather whether I like it or not, as the Messi, Ronaldo era goes off, he's supposed to be the next face. And in football, whether you like it or not, if you want to prove or confirm that you are indeed among the best, you have to either play for Real Madrid, Barcelona, well, until recently, Manchester United. But normally, Real Madrid and Barcelona, that's the basis, the standard. So he doesn't need the money right now. He doesn't need it.
He needs to join the elite.
He needs to join the elite. He has won the World Cup already. He wants to win Champions League. He wants to play, what do you call it, El Clasico nights. I mean, come on. You want to substitute that for staying in League Championnat. You just be beating Le Havre, Nice, Nantes, week in, week out, and scoring hat-tricks. Come on.
All right, but let's see. The last story, let's just look at Roberto, which he is in the news now. Roberto De Zerbi, who is the coach of Brighton, has threatened Brighton to say if they're not ambitious, he's not going to be with them next season. Is that a sign to say the Roberto has already made up his mind? He's going to replace Jurgen Klopp in Anfield? Because for a coach, it takes guts for a coach to say this, especially when you know you're linked to Liverpool.
If you watch the end of the game, even from the clip you can see at the end of the match, the way they embraced and the way Klopp now showered praises on Zerbi already, that's sent tongues wagging in at Merseyside.
Yeah, they have an agreement already
that he might be the one. Well, the truth is, he's moving from Brighton to Liverpool. That's a huge step. A huge step. You know, my problem is that his style of play is good, but he tends to pay less attention to defense, which is very un-Italian. And that's why, up until this morning, the major name that kept cropping up was the coach of Sporting Lisbon, Amorim.
Amorim, okay.
Yes, because of his possession and pressing style of football. So it's going to be very interesting.
But the experience he's got, we've got De Zerbi has been in the Premier League. Is that not a big factor?
It is a factor, in fairness to him. And he, FSG, and this is one of the things that pains me about them. They want someone that will not spend money. And Zerbi will just fit that bill. They want to buy cheap or buy next to nothing, then build, then now sell. It's not, see, personally, I have no problem with that. That's the beauty of the game. But the truth is, when you are a Liverpool, you're competing against a Man City.
You need a top-class coach.
You need a top-class coach. And you need to spend money. And I don't think, let me just put it this way. One of the reasons why Klopp is leaving Liverpool is he has had it up to here. Because he has all these years, he too is an apostle of we don't spend, we build, which is not bad. But you get strained when you are playing against a Man City that at every they can just buy 20 players and spend the money. Then you will be building 3 or 4 people, hoping that you will win 1 or 2. That's why, look, let me just make it clear. But for the fact that we have a Man City, Klopp would have won this Premier League like almost 5 times. He would have won it, but the money and Guardiola, those are just the two things, the Arab money and Guardiola. That's why some of us were hoping that the Liverpool ownership would change to maybe the Arabs. But at Liverpool, there's a culture, they say no, they don't want Arab money. They have this socialist mindset, I'm sorry to say, this middle-class mentality that everybody, football is a community sport, and so it shouldn't be commercialized and capitalist. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So they have that mentality,
so
and
they're sticking to that.
They're sticking to that. And for FSG, very smart, Alex. It suits them. Spend less and make more money and cash.
All right, that's how we're going to. How much time is going to allow us on today's edition? It looks like time not enough when you're talking sport. And this is a professor. Hopefully, I don't know if I can hold him to his jog to be here tomorrow. We promise to give you 45 minutes of action.
Let's see how it goes. Okay.
All right, so he's not saying yes, but he's not saying no. So hopefully we'll have Dixon join us again tomorrow. Talking sport is our game, and we love doing it. My name is Anthony Momodu, and we'll be going for a very quick break. When we return, my co-anchor is waiting in the wings to say his goodbyes. All right, so this is where we say our goodbyes. We want to say thank you for joining us on TalkSport. This morning it's been exciting. I want to say a big thank you to Dickson Mazino. Always a pleasure having him in the studios. Okay.
It's always awesome time to be with you guys and then bring you top stories in the world of football. It was an amazing time with you guys. Same time tomorrow, we'll bring you top stories from the world of football. Good morning.
All right, see ya.
Yusuf.